I have experienced what it is to be ignited and to be impassioned, feel light from someone else transmitted to me on my journey. I want to share some of what happened to me when I was asked to come and speak here. I took it, as a teacher does, as she enters her 5th decade in the profession. I will have to do some research on the key words, ignite being a major one. And so I read widely. I knew that there are various ways to ignite a fire. The same way these are my teaching tools. They are metaphors for what I do in the classroom. I can strike a light that will burn briefly, and I can transmit that to my student. Or I can take another method, which is long and slow, and I've chosen my woods well, this instrument and this piece of wood, on a fire plow. And I've made sure that I've got plenty of tinder here, plenty of small material that will take a child when I blow gently on that little spark. When I blow gently on that little spark, the child's light is ignited. I know that there are much sharper ways to work with a flint and a steel, and that spark. I know that we have these lighters, for people who are wanting their cigarette, and that there are particular metals in there that are significant in terms of the history of mankind, where to lose your fire was to die in many occasions. People carried fire in their pocket because if the fire went out, if the embers failed to burn, you could die of the cold that night. You could die of starvation. And then there are things too that we had magnifying glasses as children we would play with, and we could take the focus of the sun through the lens and catch it on a dark piece of paper and watch the smoke come before the flame. You can even start a fire with water. If you happen to be on a clear lake and chip out some ice and shape it to a lens, that ice will focus enough sunlight to ignite a fire. If you have an empty bottle, not an empty bottle, a bottle that's filled with water, that can be lying on the ground and becomes a way to ignite a fire. And then there are things that ignite themselves. There are things, if you've read Thomas Hardy, you'll know that an entire haystack set fire to itself. What I need to do to be a really good TEDx speaker is to have an original thought. And all I had was a lot of profound and wonderful information. But what do I do with it if it's just all facts? The things I learned from this, when I went from my ignite and into my all areas there, I found that there were also things that I deeply about. Like the wonder of a tree which we burn. We burn and we take it for granted. How does it stand up when it's mainly water? And how does it pump water from the depths of the earth up to that great height without making any noise? These are my drawings, because it was too tense at that time to travel in the public parts of Kano with a camera. So I walked the streets. I observed what I was seeing, and I was so touched by the lives that I was seeing that I drew them. By January of 2012, we had explosions all over the city. We were down under curfew. We had checkpoints at every corner, and people came to me under those circumstances and said, "Teach me English. Teach me English." The desire was there, and yet it's presented as if the people of northern Nigeria wholeheartedly, emphatically oppose any Western education. Here were people in hardest times coming to English. So I drew their lives, their known world, and we could have conversations about what we were seeing. This man is selling yardis, and this one has hula, and this is a Dede de Soho, and here's a limo, and here's a masalachi, and the kofar. And my vocabulary expanded as the teacher, you know? So I'd like to flick, oh, there we go. Oh no, two at a time. From the kofar, these women who sit under these trees cooking kose every morning. Their price is the same for everyone. You don't beat that mama pot down in her price. That woman knows what she's selling at, and she gives the same deal to everyone. And every day she's got 3 or 4 children she's just feeding on the side because they brought her some firewood to keep it going. And every day, people who sit there in community and have their kunu and kose as a meal on the street. And so for the first time, the people of my area who were coming to my house saying, "Teach me English," could see on the page a representative of their known lives, where those who went to school knew only that they weren't in books. What a powerful and message to give to any child. You are not known. Everything began somewhere else. You are not in this book. The people in the Mazda, they have a television, they have plenty of things that you don't have. Your life is not known. We face these checkpoints. And in these checkpoints where we see such hardship for the people, our lives, a 5-minute trip became a 45-minute trip. Everyone was stopped, get off your vehicle, walk, open your boot. Do you see these little girls sitting there right by the sandbags with soldiers selling groundnuts? And I thought, my God, look at these young women of northern Nigeria who are so fearless that they will sit at the feet of men carrying rifles and slapping people with a bulala. They will sit there and sell groundnut. Am I not ignited by the courage of these women of the north? Truly, I can love them. Look at them walking to school in their school uniform, when we knew at that time to go to school was to risk your life. Across northern Nigeria, children were being killed and abducted from schools. And these ones in Kano, walking in their school uniform, it was like a living rebellion. You shall not deny me my education. This is not to say to the government, you shall not deny me. It's to Boko Haram. You shall not deny me my education. Wouldn't I stay with a child who cares so much about her own learning? I'll walk with her as far as I can. I'll provide a space for her now in living color, out of the black and white darkness of that time. We'll plant gardens together. We will sow seeds, collect them. We will stick with the history. We will not throw away the past. We will take the wooden slate that was used. I can't even call it a slate. A slate is a stone that grates and scratches, and aloe whispers. The wooden board with the grass stick whispers in the handmade ink. We will keep this. We will have this tablet, and we will have this one with the 6-inch screen. We will hold on to these things. We will sit where we need to give testimony in the shadow of men that raped our mothers, that kidnapped our sisters, that gave us nieces and nephews and children we didn't ask for. They may stand at our shoulder all our life, but we, as northern women, will stand in the light. We will be ignited by the passion we have seen in each other. We will cook together. We will feed the nation when there is no food. We will keep the city running when the middle class have stopped paying their man for bread and egg on his street. They're taking credit, say, we haven't been paid this month. That man needs to be paid every day and you stopped paying him. Who will feed him? These women who go out again and feed, danwaki, shinkafa duwaki. Waki, it's beans, the protein of a hungry nation. And we will do it in living colour. And we will sit sometimes and plait each other's hair in the intimacy of our own private space, where the word who hasn't entered in here doesn't know these demonstrations of love that are part of the development of character, part of that gift that is given from one woman to another. These gentle things, this gentle and often rubbing of the plastic is where we celebrate. And so my hectic, crazy diagram took me from ignite to light. And we should all be mindful, please, of the fire we kindle in others and how they have laid their light before us. I thank you.